Hello, friends and fellow assholes. I'm Jay.
I'm Sean.
And today we're going to talk about one of life's nicer collaborations, I think, between veteran actor Tom Hanks and director Steven Spielberg.
Oh, okay. That's exciting.
It is kind of exciting. So today I posted about The Terminal. So those of you who may not know, we actually run a movie review site. We don't just talk shit on the internet, we write shit on the internet as well.
We do both. We're a double threat.
Yes. But we actually are movie reviewers, or I am, and Sean tags along.
Yeah.
So I post a movie review every single day of the year, at least.
Somehow.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes many more than one, if it's festival season or Christmas or Halloween or we're traveling. Anyways, I watch a lot of movies and I talk about a lot of movies. So today I reached back into the vault to talk about The Terminal, which is possibly one of the lesser in the Spielberg-Hanks collaborations.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it. I've heard of it.
You haven't?
I have not seen it.
Shocking.
Is it? I mean,
yes.
I guess it is. That is, to me, why it's a lesser one, is I didn't feel...
That's how you define their canon, is as Sean's seen it?
I didn't feel too bad about missing it to have not seen it yet.
Okay. So they've worked together in actor-director capacity 5 times.
Okay.
Do you know the 5?
Saving Private Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
That's about all I can come
I mean,
up
I
with.
just gave you the second one.
Well, The Terminal.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't. Okay.
Okay.
I assumed that was like the middle of the bingo card where I didn't have to actually say it.
Oh, okay, fine. The Post.
Okay.
Bridge of Spies.
Oh, Bridge of Spies.
And Catch Me If You Can.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. So
Okay.
do you have a favorite out of those?
Saving Private Ryan, but Bridge of Spies, a very, very close second.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Catch Me If You Can, also a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other one?
The Post?
The Post, also a good movie. I mean, imagine that. Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg
Making
make good
movies. Except for The Terminal, which Sean has decided not worth his time.
Well,
You can watch Playing with Fire, but not The Terminal.
that's true. That is a pretty big black mark on you.
Jesus. You should take away your card.
I didn't have a card.
Okay, that is a loophole. Leave it to you to trot that out at this convenient time. Okay, so Saving Private Ryan. Did you see that one in theaters?
I didn't.
Oh.
You know, that's one of the first movies that I had on DVD.
Oh, okay.
With my sound system, my 5.1 DTS. I didn't even know what DTS was until I accidentally bought the DTS Saving Private Ryan. Fortunately, my receiver, I paid lots and lots of money for it, and it did the thing. I didn't notice a difference, but apparently it's a different thing. Anyway, it's a great movie. I love especially the opening scene, of course, which is just 20 minutes or whatever it is of madness.
Onslaught, yeah.
But the movie then kind of goes a whole other way from there, and I thought that was really neat how it was like suddenly it's not directly about fighting the Germans so much as just saving saving Matt Damon.
But I think the opening scene gives it context, right? We have to know what the stakes are and why we're trying so hard to save this one guy.
Absolutely.
Because here's a slaughter of
we've just seen thousands of people
thousands.
die. Yeah, absolutely. And so why does this one kid matter? Well, because he's just an idea. Not that lady's not going to lose all her kids.
Yeah. She might be sad that Matt Damon is the one they save. But I guess beggars can't be choosers. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, lady. You should have marked the one you wanted.
Yep, just giving them some bone spurs.
That's right. If you really love your kid, you'd shoot him in the toe. So that's, I mean, recently you did declare that 1917 was better.
I did. I don't take it back.
Okay.
I mean, I think the frenetic energy of that, somehow 1917 carries that opening scene for an entire movie and makes it work. I feel like that is really
well, that's the
amazing.
Interesting thing is Saving Private Ryan has this great big opening scene that kind of carries you through the quietness of the rest of the movie. Whereas in 1917, it is just a small amount of people. It is not a big war engagement, and yet you still feel the same amount of tension that you feel in the opening scene of...
You do.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that specifically was an admitted inspiration for Sam Mendes and Roger Deakins, but I mean, it has to be there. Obviously, they will be aware that this movie exists
of course.
And inspired by it. And I think, yeah, they can both exist and they're both really good.
And Catch Me If You Can.
Catch Me If You Can
is one of my favorites. I mean, Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg seem to love going to Europe together. I don't know if that's just why they keep making movies like this. They're good buddies who like to travel to Europe together, and they're just really fond of good cheese. I don't know. But they go back there a lot, and they certainly went back there quite a bit with Catch Me If You Can. But I think that is such a fun movie. I mean, Spielberg is one of those rare directors where he seems to be able to do anything and everything, like, whimsical kids movies and then impactful war movies. Like,
he really can. It's like, and not just like, oh, he'll get by at it.
No.
But he just knows how to tell any kind of story you throw at him.
Yeah, well, I love Christopher Walken.
Yep.
Who doesn't really, I guess?
I think it is. If you don't love Christopher Walken, there is something wrong.
And I think he's just such a good representative of what that movie is about. What I love about that movie, it just has this like kind of loose, jazzy feel.
Yes.
And it's sort of the cat and the mouse.
Yep.
Of the chase and the hunt, and it almost becomes more about the chase than about the crimes or the money or anything. It's just...
It's a game to both.
Yes, exactly. And kind of almost a level of respect that they have for each other, and this relationship that, we think is easily defined, and yet they both become important to each other in their lives. And so, obviously, they're both kind of have sad lives.
Well, that is their life.
Yes.
That's what they have.
Yeah.
They throw each other into it, and I think they do see commonalities in each other, even though they're not on the exact same team.
And so The Terminal is based on a true story.
Yeah, I read your review. I think that's...
Thank you, dear.
That's crazy that something like that actually happened.
Yes.
And for 18 years of...
18 years, a man lived in the Paris airport, Charles de Gaulle airport. 18 years he lived there. He was an Iranian who he claims had his papers stolen en route. So he was actually going to England, but they had stopped over in Paris, and he claims his papers were stolen. So when he got to England, they were like, no, thank you, you got to go back. But now he's stuck in Paris. He can't go this way and he can't go that way, and
Yeah.
So he lived there for 18 years until he was hospitalized. I think his mental health deteriorated, and how could it not if you live in an airport? So I watched this movie when it came out. This is obviously years ago now. So I remembered the big headlines of the movie, but I didn't really appreciate, I guess, the little details that Tom Hanks is so good at taking out of a character. Just, that this is a man, in this case, his character, while he's on a overseas flight, his country has like a coup d'etat. And so the two sides are at war and his country is dissolved. And so his passport isn't valid anymore because it's no longer from a country that the US recognizes. So without a valid visa, he can't go into the States, but without a passport, they can't let him board a plane home. So he can't go anywhere. He's just stuck in the airport. And Stanley Tucci is the airport director. So again, it's not quite cat and mouse, but it's like these two, like Stanley Tucci is like overseeing, like watching him through security cameras, and they're not, they're not butting heads constantly, but Stanley Tucci kind of wants him to just leave already. Even though his hands are tied bureaucratically, he has to tell the guy you have to stay, but he expects the guy to just
vanish,
become someone else's problem. Yeah. And he never does. He stays his problem. And it's just kind of interesting to see what kind of life this man builds for himself in an airport. And what I hadn't really appreciated before was just in seeing what he's able to build for himself in the airport, you start to realize he must not have had a whole lot at home, because we never see him mourn, a little bit for his country, but we don't see concern for family or friends or the job he must have left, because he's just coming for a vacation. So I thought it was really interesting on the rewatch, and I'm glad I saw it again. I think I saw it differently this time, perhaps as an old lady now who thinks more deeply about things. But it is lesser, I think, of the Tom Hanks and Spielberg. I think he was an overly happy guy for living in an airport, but it was still, I think, really good. Not as good as Bridge of Spies, which is the next on the list, which is actually an incredible film.
It really is.
A really incredible film. Although, I have to say, I really like The Post as well. And I kind of am surprising myself at how much I'm liking these kind of smaller films that Spielberg is doing off and on.
Yep.
Like, obviously he had Ready Player One somewhere in there, which is a big, sprawling movie that actually I thought was a lot of fun. I really loved the book, and I did really like the movie as well. But I love these little films that he's doing, and, Bridge of Spies really...
Oh yeah, that's a really... I mean... It's hard to say it was surprisingly good, but I was blown away by it.
It exceeds your expectations, even of a Tom Hanks, Steven Spielberg movie, which are there. And this, I think, Mark Rylance, of course.
Mark Rylance, yeah, that's where I really found out his name, because of, he does a great job, as he always does, but that's one that kind of captures your attention.
For sure, yeah. And The Post, I mean, it was so fun seeing Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep together.
Yeah.
Two sort of acting legends and the best there is. So obviously it's exciting to see them play off each other. And I think both Hanks and Steven Spielberg are sort of history buffs, I get the impression. And so it's sort of neat, whether they're doing a war, because they were both producers on Band of Brothers.
Oh, right. Not the spin-off, but evolution of Saving Private Ryan. Yeah. So
I just think they both have a certain appreciation for this stuff, and so it's fun to watch them be able to take something that really happened and put their spin on it and really sort of breathe their own life into it.
Yeah, I agree, and I think you can always find parallels. I mean, in being a history buff, for those who don't learn from the past are doomed to repeat it, and I think that's where it must be fun as two guys who love history to team up on that kind of stuff and both make it a retelling of something that is also a relevant thing today.
Sean and I once at the Tribeca Film Festival, we got to see Tom Hanks in conversation with John Oliver. And he was talking about how he is drawn to make movies that are period pieces because cell phones are such a hard thing to put in a movie because you can't have any mystery. There's no more mystery unless you have this whole other subplot on why I lost my phone. Because every mystery can be solved by taking your phone out of your pocket. There's nothing that can't be accomplished with that. So he really likes to go, pre-cell phone era.
I forgot that he had said that, and as soon as you say that, I totally remember of just how a brilliant observation that was, to say, of course, like, don't have these contrivances, just go back a little bit, and then you don't have to worry about it. And it's not even that long ago. I mean, even when cell phones existed, until smartphones, like, you didn't
That's right.
always have them with you, and certainly they wouldn't help you the way that they now do answer every single question you could ever have.
Yes, and we have become so dependent on them that we forget that 10 years we didn't have that at all. It already feels like we couldn't live without them, even though we all did.
How did we do it?
I don't know.
How did we do it? How did we get it anywhere? How did we buy movie tickets?
Did we buy movie tickets?
I feel like we must have.
Yes, because I have the paper receipts. Remember, we already discussed this. I have a memory box under our bed, and it's filled with paper movie tickets, but they stop at like 2009, because that's when we got the kiosks, and now I'll never remember what movies I saw, except for on YouTube and also on my website, assholeswatchingmovies.com. It's a very accurate record of all the movies I watched.
Well, not all.
Not all.
Not yet.
Oh, no. That's true. Not prior.
No.
Although I am working my way backwards through the Steven Spielberg canon. So just you wait. I am catching up.
You're not catching up.
How dare you?
You see too many movies. You're falling further behind.
How dare you? I mean, I'm not falling behind. I am
That's true.
At the very least keeping
maintaining.
abreast, okay?
Yeah.
I am at least treading water. If not, I'm going to win this. I am.
I believe it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you've just been caught on camera saying the exact opposite about 30 seconds ago.
Let's delete that part.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.
Bye.